Hello, gorgeous people. You're welcome back again to my channel. Thanks for stopping by again. It's been a while I did a sit down video. Thank God I'm back. In my last video, I talked about Provincial Nominee Program and I said I was going to make a video on that because it's like that is what is trending and most persons don't really know how to go about it. So this video is just going to explain all that you need to know about Provincial Nominee Program. If you are new to this channel, you are most welcome, or if you are just seeing my face for the first time, you are welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, you are welcome as well. Please do me well to subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and share this video. So let's get started. What is Provincial Nominee Program, also known as PNP? It is a program that helps to address labor shortages in provinces or territories. It's also a way to permanent residency. So if you are being nominated by a province, it's actually a pathway to become a permanent resident in Canada. You may want to know who are those to do this provincial nomination. Anybody, in fact, I would suggest those that are even above 40 years that still plan to relocate to Canada to seize this pathway. Okay, express entry route is not enough this time around because it has been 500 plus. So normally in those days where ITAs were being sent to those having 300, 350, 400, then I can really tell you to rely on express entry um, pathway. It is the quickest, it is the easiest route, but most persons don't get selected owing to a lot of persons in the express entry pool and owing to the quota that are being selected. It's not enough to have the cutoff score. It is if you will be selected in the next draw, because of course those that have higher CRS than you will be the ones to be selected before it gets to your turn. So that is why I usually encourage provincial nominee routes or provincial nominee program. I also want to state it here that it's also a way to boost your score in the express entry pool, and that brings me to what leads or what usually leads to PMP. In most cases, PMP can be done before you create your express entry profile or after creating your express entry profile. It can be done in both ways, and I'm going to tell you the reason. If you are saying, or if you have seen ahead that your score will be low in the express entry pool, I would just suggest that you start pushing for nomination, because this provincial nominee program is a separate application on its own, while express entry is another one on its own. Provincial nominee program is a separate application or is a separate process. Okay, so when you push for your nomination before you create your express entry profile, so you can actually say that is the non-express entry route. Okay, that is getting your nomination before creating your express entry profile. But if you create your express entry profile before going for your nomination or before going through the PNP, then that is, yeah, the express entry route. Somebody asked me that is it compulsory to still go to the express entry pool after getting nominated? In most cases, yes, because it is a requirement you also have to meet. Okay, you can get nominated by a province, but you still need to go through the express entry to become a permanent resident. There are many ways people boost score. I think I mentioned it in one of my videos 2 years back. You can boost your score if you have like maybe masters if you have PhD, definitely your point in the express entry pool should be higher than someone that has maybe only BSc or BEd or just university degree. If you are bilingual, you also stand a chance of having a high CRS score. Then, if you have a job offer, you also would boost your score. If you have PMP, that is, if you have your nomination, you can also boost your score. So now let's see the scores that are allocated to these forms of boosting your score in the express entry pool. If you understand French, for example, you do your IELT, I forgot to mention, even writing your IELT can boost your score depending on how high your grades are. Okay? If you do your English language test and you add French to it, you know it can boost your score because that will automatically be 50 points added with good grade. And with this new category based express entry, if you are French, if you are in French line, maybe you have been teaching French or you have been working as a French person, you can even go through the category based express entry to become permanent resident. What am I trying to say? Category based means it has to be this particular category, and French is one of those um, categories here. So after you must have created your express entry profile, you can go through that French route, just the way people go through health route. Do you understand? So that's for that. I don't want to digress. Then when you talk about job offer gives you 200 points. Hmm? Job offer, we all know it's not too easy getting it from outside of Canada, but it's possible. In fact, with these rural programs coming up lately, it's now easier for people to get jobs. Talking from someone that stays in Saskatchewan, I'm referring to myself. There are some rural areas looking for care support workers or support workers. They are looking for those in the health line. That is now the trick, or that's now the trend these days. If you want to get a job, it's not easy getting it in a very big city, like maybe going to big towns. But take advantage of those communities, those rural areas. It is quite easy. I can tell you that for free. So if you can get a job offer and your employer sends you your employment letter or your job offer letter, you can actually get 200 points added to what you already had in the express entry pool. Express entry pool may sound strange to some people. Let me just take our little time to talk about that. I have two videos on this channel on how to create your express entry profile and the rest. You need majorly, I think, 4 to 5 factors to create your express entry profile. Talking about your age, your language proficiency, your level of education, your work experience, you can actually create your express entry profile. I think is this one of the early steps of this immigration to Canada. You actually need your express entry profile. That is if you are talking about going as a permanent resident. Okay. So when you've met with those requirements or those things I mentioned, you will automatically the system will generate your CRS score. That's comprehensive ranking system score. So it now depends on how high or how low it is. If it's high enough with the information you must have put in there, then you can be selected in the next draw. But if not, all these things I've been mentioning, French, job, and the rest, are ways to boost the score. Although my point is the PMP route, okay? So what did I say? That the job offer route will add 200 points. And looking at how things are going lately, let's assume your CRS score ideally was like 300. If you get 200 points from job offer, what do you stand to get at the end of the day? 500, 500, which is quite high. Yeah. I know 6 years ago, 7 years ago, people were longing for that score. Like, if you have 500, oh, automatically you'll be selected. But now, the draw score is getting high these days. Just this January, the express entry draw was the score was 547. Many those having less than 47 will not be selected. Even at that, if their quota is 25 candidates and they're able to meet with 25 candidates having between 1000 CRS score to maybe 800, you will still be in the pool, you that have 500 or maybe 600, because they will definitely select the ones with the highest scores before coming down to you. So you can say that even with the job offer, if your CRS score is still low, you will still be in the pool. But when you go through this PMP route, it gives you 600. 600 when you are nominated, and not just nominated, when it is accepted, it automatically adds up to what you have in your express entry profile. So if you had 350 or 300, so plus 600, it is 900, and then you have higher chances of being selected. 80% of people will tell you they want routes to permanent residency because it will enable them take their family once. When you are doing permanent residency, Canada even knows that it is for you and your family. So that is why I'm dwelling more on this now in this video. And again, your comments in the comment section will make me know how to really explain it further. But for now, this is just what I'm talking about. Okay, I also got a question. How do you go about this provincial nominee program? The requirements are not so far from what you need to create the express entry profile. I can even say, in terms of language tests, for PMP, it's kind of lower, meaning if you have a CLB of 4, you can even process your nomination. Then in another video I made, somebody said, but when you take it back to express entry, you need a high score in your IELTS. Well, like I said, there are two separate applications. There are two separate processes. Okay, so if you want to process your nomination first, you don't need so much a high score for your IELTS to be able to process it. Another thing you should take, we have criteria. All these things, you need to be eligible. Even if you want to create express entry profile, you need to be eligible too. You can't just create it. There are some things that can make you ineligible. So you need to start looking at it. Oh, this thing, if you get below this, you will be ineligible. So that is how it is for PMP. Although each province has its own requirements, this one as well, but there's still something that is common to all of them. Before you also embark on provincial nominee program, take note, it kind of makes your immigration journey longer. When I say longer, it can add like extra 3, 4, 5, 6 months to your normal processing. Express entry is about 6 months thereabouts. There's now new processing times. If you check my last video, I mentioned it. So you can check out my last video on the new processing times. IRCC usually do this. I think yearly they update their processing times. So it could be shorter, it could be longer. So check it out. Ideally, I think express entry is 6 months. But if you are doing nomination, it's a little longer. What I mean is, if you add 6 months to the length of time it will take you to get nominated, definitely it will be longer. But there's something you need to consider. You also need um, your level of education, your work experience in this program. Now, I want to talk about your level of education. Most people don't put this into consideration before embarking on this provincial nominee program journey. There are some professions that are licensed. This could actually make your provincial nominee program longer. If you studied a course that requires licensing, it will make this PMP journey longer. So you need to check it out. I will just be telling you those professions that need licensing. So what that means is if you are trying to get nomination, you need to first of all get your license in that province you are planning to move to. So I'm gonna be reading out some of the professions that need licensing. If you fall into this category and you are planning to go through PMP route, so you have to um, get your license before you can actually continue the PMP process. So we have the doctors, physicians, dentists, nurses, pharmacists, physiotherapists, chiropractors. So those are the ones in the healthcare professions. Then we have those in the legal professions, such as lawyers, notaries. Then we have engineering and technical professions, like the engineers, engineering technologists. Then we have financial professions, those that are chartered professional accountants, financial planners. Then let's go to the teaching and education. So if you're a teacher, school principal, you need licensing. So we also have those in the real estate professions, such as the real estate agents, mortgage brokers, architecture. Um, we also have the psychology and counseling. The social workers to need licensing. Then we have the veterinarians. Yeah, so basically those are the group of people or group of professions that need licensing. So you have to get it, and that will not be contained in this video. But I have a video of how my husband got his engineering licensing, and he got it from outside of Canada. So don't be scared that, but I'm not in Canada. How can I get license? You can actually get it from outside of Canada, and each province with their method of giving you their licensing. Okay, so I can only tell you about that of Saskatchewan. I don't really know much about others except I go do research. So in most cases, you will have to do exam. Maybe now I think we have the computer-based exam now, or computer-based test, or in most cases you write report. I know it has got to also do with experience too. So you need to get that before you can actually continue the PMP process. For those that don't require licensing for their professions, then the process could be shorter for you, but then it all depends. Okay, I'll be giving you the general requirements for PMP, irrespective of the province you want to stay. So, first is your connection to the province. Second, your skills and experience. I can liken this to work experience. It's also a requirement. Third, job offer. You see, most provinces will tell you you need a job offer for the their province, but then some will tell you it's not compulsory. But ideally, in most cases, job offer is a requirement. Then proof of fund is also needed in this provincial nominee program. we left our proof of fund in the account for 3 to 4 months. But also note, since you are going to be going through the express entry later, if you are saving your proof of fund, it's advisable for you to leave it, okay? Because you will still go back to the express entry profile to still provide that same proof of fund. Occupation in demand. You know, I've told you that the whole essence of this PMP is to address labor shortages. So if they need, like, for example, somebody in the healthcare, they can, you know, nominate people more in that occupation compared to other occupations. So occupation in demand too is a requirement, or it gives you a greater chance of you getting nominated quickly. Language proficiency, I think I talked about that before. You need your language proficiency. So it now depends on the province what they actually want. Some will tell you CLB of 5, some will tell you CLB of 4, but in most cases, it is usually required. Education is also a requirement. And if you are applying from outside of Canada, definitely you should do your ECA, that's ECA, Educational Credential Assessment. And lastly, you also need an express entry profile. I also talked about this, if applicable. If the PMP is aligned with the federal express entry system, then you may need to create an express entry profile. But if it is not stated, which is kind of slim, then you should know that it is just PMP you need to use to immigrate to Canada. But in most cases, it's usually, connected. So basically, those are the major things or the major requirements for PMP. I don't want to make this video too long, so watch out for my next video on some of the provinces you can easily, go through their provincial nomination process. So I'll be seeing you in my next video, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you've liked this video. If you have not subscribed yet, kindly subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my amazing content. See you all in my next video. Peace out.